Okay, so today we're going to talk about equivalencies or substitutions in knitting. And I was actually thinking about this during the baking season, right? And when you run out of butter, you can use applesauce instead, or if you don't have buttermilk, you can add vinegar into your milk and create buttermilk. And so there's all those sorts of lessons that we learn in time in cooking of things that we can substitute. Well, the same sort of lessons exist in knitting, and just like with baking, if you don't know them, you don't know them, and they're hard. So I thought I would start with increases, because I had a call from one of my customers. Actually, she was on one of my drop-in help, and she said, okay, I'm doing these slippers and I keep doing an increase, and I'm running out of stitches at the end. So I said, okay, well, are you doing the increase that the pattern tells you to, or are you, doing something different? She said, no, I don't like make one, so I'm doing knit front back. So here's the crazy thing. When you think about increases, your increases will either be created in between your stitches, or they will utilize a stitch. And if you try to replace one that, like a make one, that is created between your stitches with one that utilizes a stitch, your stitch count won't come out. So if I was instructed to knit 3 and then knit front back, which is knitting into the front of the stitch and the back of the stitch, right, and coming off, that utilizes that 4th stitch versus knitting 1, 2, and 3 and making 1, which utilizes only 3 stitches. So it's not that you can't replace them with one another, you just have to be aware. So if I am using a pattern that tells me to knit 3 stitches and then make 1, there's knit 2, I would, instead of knitting 3 stitches and making 1, I would knit 2 stitches and knit front back. Okay, so that's how you would sort of replace one thing to think about, replacing one that utilizes stitch without. Now, you also might want to say, okay, what all are the increases that are created that don't utilize a stitch? So first, you can lift this bar between, like you can either knit it in the back, which twists it, or you can knit it in the middle, which gives you a nice yarn over effect, but one row below doing an actual yarn over. You can do a yarn over, right? You can do a make one, and make ones can be done so that they lean to the left, and that is by picking it up from the front and knitting into the back, and you get this nice little left leaning increase. Or they can lean to the left, right, by coming from the rear. I'm sorry, lean to the right, let me say the right thing. By coming from the rear and knitting into the front, and that little increase, as you can see, that little twist leans to the right. You can knit one, just pop into that stitch below and pull up a stitch, right, and then knit that stitch, and that also does one right in the middle. So there are a lot of ways of sort of picking and choosing the increase you want to do when you're making that stitch out of nowhere. Now, to my knowledge, there is only one other alternative to a knit front back. So knit front back, remember, utilizes that stitch. I knit into the front, I knit into the back, and it is very, very well known, this increase for this little bump that you get right over here. Well, that's called a KFB, but there's also a KFS, which you knit into the front of the stitch, and then you slip the stitch. And of course, I should also say, you could knit into the back of the stitch and then knit into the front of the stitch as well. And that actually will move where that bar will occur. So those are the 3 sort of ways to do that. So this is a bar to the left, this is no bar, and this is a bar that's created to the right. And so those are sort of your 3 ways of doing the increase that that utilizes that stitch. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about and to be aware when you're doing increases of exactly what can be replaced and what cannot.